and Alex Turbin. We're here today to talk to you guys about one of these like awesome underground gyms that you definitely want to get your hands on. We're talking about the Brutal Blade of Crom, and I'm sitting here today with one of its creators, Alex Turbin, and we're the West Coast, East Coast comic guys, or comic books from coast to coast.
And we started doing this. I don't know, was it last year? And they introduced Jamie Burrows, introduced Crom to the group that I was part of, the Toilet Group, which has gone the way of the dodo as of late. But he introduced that, and I had never actually heard of Crom before.
Yeah, the only place I had ever really, known the character name is from the Conan novels.
Yeah. I thought as soon as he brought up Crom, I was like, "You mean the god Crom that Conan worships?" I had no idea that there was a public a free public thing, public
Yeah,
domain
public domain. Yeah,
character.
public domain. Yeah, I have to admit I have had this bizarre fascination with the idea of the character. Um, I know, like in Six Lords of Sound, Crom is one of the. It's like the god that it's like their god, and the Six Lords of Sound, like Crom is their version of God or whatever.
Oh yeah,
And I have him, like it's also like it's a sound effect. Like anytime, like the Six Lords of Sound are breaching some huge like bear, because like it's sort of like if you're familiar with the anime Demon Hunter. Have you ever watched that or read it?
yep, yeah.
Okay,
I've seen it a couple times.
so you know how he has all these techniques that he's learning, and he's doing this water breathing, but the water breathing has like 10 different levels to it or whatever. There's
Right.
like, and each one gives him a little bit more power or whatever. And that's kind of how I
Yeah.
designed the Six Lords guys with like, they do this thing called the, oh God, I can't think of it right now, but it's the interlude. Like it's the first interlude and second interlude and third interlude. And as they do each interlude, they more powerful and they get louder. And every time they breach a new interlude, they always, as the sound effect Crom is always in the background. It's like Crom, like as they get extra loud or whatever. And I definitely at the very end on the 3 panels, like in the one of the 3-page spreads at the end, when like Master Blaster is flying up to the giant head of Lord Hush, he yells out Zambles, like just because like Crom is just like it's just one of
Yeah.
those like things that's just like embedded in your pop
Yeah.
culture idiom. If you know anything about Conan,
Yeah. It's funny. I'm working on this other project, which is a sword and sorcery thing, and I have them swear like a modern, the F word, and it's funny because you never see in sword and sorcery anybody swear in modern stuff. It's always like Conan's always saying "by Crom" or "by Mitra" or whatever. Like
yeah,
that's a slang for a
Mitra's hammers or something or
yeah,
whatever. Like,
yeah, something like that. So they never actually swear in any of these things, which is it's very odd, but
um,
it makes sense.
even in like any of the Michael Moorcock stuff, you know what I mean? They never
Yeah,
swear, like
yeah,
none of the Michael Moorcock sword and sorcery things. I've never caught a swear in there, like in any kind of
yeah.
natural sense. I've never read Game of Thrones, so I don't know if there's swearing in Game of Thrones or not. I bet you there's probably, shite and that kind of thing, but
Have you've never read it, but you've watched it, right?
yeah, I've watched it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say you need to stop the video right now and watch every episode.
Oh no, yeah, I watched all of it. The Game of Thrones was. I mean, I'm one of the few people that liked the last season. Like.
Me too. I loved the last season. And I loved the
Yeah, I know
ending,
a lot of people
and
hated it, but in all honesty, the whole time I always wanted Bran to win. Like it was so
yeah,
funny
yeah.
because like so many people were upset by that. But I remember always thinking like he was one of the coolest characters, and I always wanted him to be the guy that won. Like, and when he won, I was just like smugly satisfied.
Yeah, yeah, and the fact that everyone is so upset that Jon and Daenerys didn't have this big, dragon fight and stuff. It just
No, it's the
doesn't make sense for that
Yeah,
to
it's the
happen.
perfect way to handle it because like that's what everybody wants. And the best thing is to just yank the carpet out from under everybody,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
and
At the
also
very end.
they have things leading up, like in every resolution to a big story, they have a little kind of foreshadowing thing, and like they go through the whole thing with Jamie being the Kingslayer and how he stabs him in the back, and that's basically what John does to Daenerys. So it's like a foreshadowing of what's going to happen anyway.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it definitely is. I mean, I personally, I loved it. We won't go down a too deep a hole on Game of Thrones right
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
but
that's going to be
but
a
man, yeah, we definitely have to do
multi-episode
that in
thing.
the future. So Javier Cardenas is asking, is that a drawing? And I'm telling you right now, that's Alexander Turbin's original art from this issue of Crom. We're
Yep.
about to get into it right now. And of course, right here on the cover, let me just dim my light for a second. We have this awesome painting, and this is an original painting by Jamie Burrows. And a
Yep.
shout out to the 11 people who are watching us right now. We appreciate you guys coming out and checking it out. Please leave a comment, throw down a like, and subscribe, yo.
Yep. And
And
especially
Javier,
anybody that has worked on that did any work on the Crom book, especially Jamie, if you're watching, I'd love to hear some comments from you too.
yeah, any of the guys that have worked on this stuff, like Jamie, if you're out there, or Jake, if you're out there, any of you guys who've actually put down pages on this, let's talk about it, man, and let's look at your guys' art on TV screen. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, it's really too bad that you weren't part of our group when this came out, because I know you would have jumped on the first issue.
Oh, for sure. I would have loved to have been part of this. And I'm definitely, we're all actually working on a second issue right now. And, I'm definitely going to be part of that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
who doesn't love sword and sorcery stuff? And I mean, I know you have an affinity to it. You have like
Oh yeah.
more than one property, that's in the
Yeah.
sword and sorcery realms. It's
Oh
really
yeah.
one of your favorite things. And who could blame
Definitely.
anybody? I mean, sword and sorcery is just where, it's where adventure and enchantment live.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I don't have a copy here on my side, which is bizarre. I just haven't picked up a copy yet. Um, but so I'll be watching along on your side of the screen and checking out the all of the art. I mean, I've seen all of the art and all of the stories obviously before,
Oh, yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
as
I'm
part of
guessing
the
you
chat
probably just
group that
sold
was
your
in it.
copies or whatever,
Yeah,
but for
yeah.
sure. And opening up here, we have like these two beautiful pages by Jake Quirk, who's Mangle Dangle on Instagram. If anybody's interested in this guy, does amazing work. He's a great
Yeah,
artist.
he
His
does
coloring
beautiful
is
stuff.
exemplary. And I'm just going to go ahead and read this quick little Conan pastiche that we have here at the beginning because this is fantastic and I really love this. And it just really sets the mood for all this. And you just feel the love from all these artists pouring out over this stuff because, I mean, who doesn't love to, leave their footprint in something like this,
Oh
something
yeah,
like
definitely.
classic fantasy.
I know that as soon as I committed to doing this, which was pretty much as soon as Jamie brought it up, I was like, I'm definitely doing that. I got my pages done in like 2 or 3 days. I
Yeah,
was just
that's like
like full on board and just 100% into it.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too, man. I, I just recently finished up. Well, I'm in the verge of finishing the like sort of crossing the T's and dotting the I's and all the stuff for Entropy Alliance.
Yeah, yeah,
And
me
I
too.
needed
I'm
to
doing that
clean my
today.
palette a little bit, so I was like, the sword and sorcery thing will be fun to do for a minute. And yeah, it didn't take me very long. I've already knocked out 3 pages. It's probably going to be maybe 5 or 6 when, by the
Yeah,
time it's done. But
yeah,
yeah, it goes down fast. And those backgrounds are a lot easier to do than buildings and all that kind of stuff. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Exactly,
That can be like
exactly.
tough. But real quickly here, we'll drop into this, and this is some really cool writing. And I'm guessing that Jake probably wrote this. So come, a weary traveler, and hear a tale. In the early days of the earth, there were many strange races and tribes that roamed its surface, moving across the land through many cities and countries now long forgotten. Much of this time was unrecorded by any historian, save the occasional vague legend. But every so often, an age worn parchment on a tomb long lost, or on a carven stone in a jungle swallowed by Mother Nature herself, a legend reemerges from the mists of time, a legend like Crom the Barbarian. So, classic, Robert E. Howard,
Yeah,
pastiche
yeah,
right there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Beautiful.
It's like the beginning of the Conan movie.
yeah, just a really great, translation of that whole idea. We
Yeah.
got this beautiful looking, right out of, channeling Frazetta thing right here with the girl with her nice boobies hanging out. She's even got
Yeah.
some little piercings going on here.
Yeah.
Really
If
nice hands, nice feet from Jake.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Really
If
nice.
I can't, like I said, I can't see because so if there's any kind of nudity, then if you could like cover it up with your hand a little
Oh,
bit.
it's nothing too. Yeah, it's nothing too big. I'll put
Okay.
my fingers across
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
yeah, just like really great work on the hands and stuff, and his lighting. He's got nice vein work coming in here. Real classic looking '90s stuff, and this
Yeah.
beautiful
Classic
shot
pose.
of the sword lit up by the lightning bolt, like the lightning is striking the sword
It's
pommel and handle,
fantastic.
and actually like lighting it like a lightsaber or something. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. One of the great things that Jake does is his lighting is just so superb. It's I have a, cover from Cyrene that he did for me, and just look at the fantastic lighting in that. It's just amazing, and everything he does is the lighting in particular is just fantastic.
Yeah, man, Jake's the man. He really does know what he's doing. But that's because this book had a lot of really great artists on it. And let's take a look at the creator of the actual book and the guy who sort of brought it all together. And that's Jamie Barrows, and that's just Jamie Comics at Instagram.
Yeah.
And his first Crom story here is Skullcracker. And if I'm not mistaken, Skullcracker is the name of Crom's sword.
Yep. Yep. And it's interesting because I brought up what it looks like because so many people, so many artists have different interpretations of it. Most of them have some sort of skull on it. I don't have it. I was looking at more as a like a Conan's sword with it kind of is broken up into two sections and stuff, and has like a little bit of a um, you know filigree kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed that. Like, I noticed everybody kind of did their own version of it or
Yep.
whatever for the
Yep.
most part, and
Yep.
that's
And it's
always
great.
cool and fun because
Yeah.
that's the best part of something like this is like seeing everybody's interpretation of the ideas. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
this is just a Conan pastiche, and I mean, so many things are, so is Bran McMorn, so is Cull, like it's a great idea that you want to exploit and be able to exploit in multiple fashions. I mean, lots of companies tried to recreate that kind of stuff. Like I know Atlas had like what was it like Lockjaw the Barbarian or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And everybody wanted to do a Conan kind of thing. At the time when it was first blowing up.
yeah. Well, how many movies in the '80s? I mean, you have what was that animal? Oh, what was his name with the
Oh,
ferrets?
a Beastmaster.
Beastmaster. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sword and the Sorcerer, which is one of my
yeah.
favorites. We're gonna have to go through all of these movies.
Dude,
I think
Ator. Did you ever see Ator?
I've never seen Ator.
Oh man, that's too
I'll have
bad.
to check that out. I'll go to Tubi. I bet it's on
What
Tubi.
about Yar from the future?
I don't think I've seen that either.
Oh man, those are some
Oh, no, I've
seriously
seen
low
Yar.
budget.
I've seen Yar. I don't remember much of it, but I've seen it.
Oh man, like those were like some serious low budget ones from back in the day.
Yeah, yeah,
But like right here, we're getting like this is a cool one right here. I like very much because like we're getting the by sea, we're getting the pirate Crom
yeah,
tundra, we're getting the frozen ice Crom, and then places in between. Here's a quick, battling a classic, tentacle monster. Like maybe this is probably crypt, bottom of the crypt Crom, we'll say, because those are all Conan pastiches. You know what I mean? So
right.
Jamie just like pulling out all the stops and trying to touch base on all the Conan ideas that he could get his hands on in his couple pages right here, and it's all just looking real great. Got this
Yeah,
beautiful shot of Crom chopping this guy in half right here, and his grim, determined eyes.
blood
Uh,
spattering.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love the blood
Uh,
spattering everywhere.
Robert E. Howard would say he had blue, baleful eyes.
Yeah, but
And
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah. I
how.
love Jamie's
Well,
work.
yeah, I like Jamie's. I love all the work in this book, man. We're
Yeah,
featuring it today
yeah,
because these guys are all doing awesome stuff, and people don't give underground comics enough time. And underground comics is also one of the things that Alex and I do, and it's going to be one of the things that
yeah,
we cover from here from
yeah.
time to time because it's
Definitely,
not
definitely.
just the big three. There's
Yeah.
A lot of dudes out there making really killer content and creating stuff. So if you're a comic book creator and you would like to have your work featured on our channel, by all means, direct message Alex or myself on Instagram. Give us the downloads on how to get a copy of your book, and we will get your stuff up on the screen, and we'll
Yeah.
take some time and we'll talk about your art.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I love his anatomy. I know Jamie's came into comic books or Conan or anyway, he said it at some point that he got into comic books through bodybuilding, which a lot of people that I know of it got into comics that way because they were into the bodybuilding and physiques and stuff like that, and they just kind of, funneled to the comic books.
For sure, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
A lot of like who am I thinking of? Oh, uh, who's the Glenn Danzig guy that they like so much? The dude who did Death
Bisley.
Dealer over there. Yeah,
Bisley.
Bisley. Yeah, he's a big time weightlifter, comic
Yeah.
book guy or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes those things tie in. I mean, because comic book art is all about the physicality of like the human body, you know what I mean?
It
That's
often is.
literally the main expression of manga and comic art. I mean, there's all kinds of drama taking place, and that's all rad, and there's everybody's telling interesting stories, and that's what it's all about. But at the heart of all of it, there is this undescribable need to fetishize the human form in all of its beauty. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, I could totally understand how weightlifting, would draw somebody into that kind of thought.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But
So
here
he's
we
got
are.
some really good anatomy.
Oh yeah, he does. I mean, you can tell like he's totally, into that fetishizing of like the human form, and who isn't? That's one of my things that I love about drawing as well. Like I can't get enough of trying to make the human form look like somehow it looks like a landscape and like it looks like like a beautiful car or like a
Yeah.
spaceship, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like the human body is like the most like aerodynamic, like aesthetic looking thing, and you could put it in so many different shapes and ergonomic forms, and it just looks gorgeous in all of them.
Yeah. Hey,
Especially if
Jamie's in the chat. Jamie's watching.
oh,
So,
finally,
J-
dude.
yeah, yeah. So,
No.
Jamie, how did you discover Crom? Hopefully you can let us know.
Yeah, and just talk to us, bro, as we're going along, as we're looking at your art, because like we're just sitting here talking about how awesome your anatomy is, how great your lighting looks. You're one of the creators of this book. We wanted to take time to, give a shout out to everybody who worked so hard on these pages. And we love Sword and Sorcery and we love underground comics. And it's amazing to have the creators here with us right now. So yeah, as we go along, man, just throw down comments and ask any questions you might have. And
Yeah,
yeah, let's
definitely.
just talk freaking Sword and Sorcery and rad comics. So here we are where, he is finding a sword that we think may be the Skull Crusher, that, Skull Cracker of, legend or whatever. But it's being offered to him through a evil deity who's like got some terrible bargain that's going to go with it. And of course, we all know free barbarian lord like Crom would never allow
Yeah.
himself to be enslaved, So
Yeah.
what does Crom do? He just with a massive blow, he strikes the blade and shatters it, breaking the curse on it. This explosive power freaking coming from this whole just beautiful pinup page right here. And then the demon just like full.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so badass,
Yeah.
just about to unleash the scourge of hell. But, we're talking about Crom the Barbarian here.
So,
So
one thing, have you read the original Croms?
no, I never have. As a matter of fact, like I said, I don't even think about it like that. Like I don't even have any interest in doing that.
Yeah.
I just think of this as Crom to me is just a cool way to be able to. I mean, it's just like what we're doing with Entropy Alliance. It's like I'm never going to get to work for DC Comics and
Right. Yeah.
draw Crisis on Infinite Earth, but I could make up a bunch of pastiches and do my own version of that,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Crom
Definitely.
is just like a rad way to visit the Conan, universe without having to step foot on anybody's brand or anything, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
mess with
Yeah.
anybody, coming after you and being like, oh, we're going to sue you because you did this or something. And it's like, you know, just because you know what I mean? Like everybody wants to do that stuff. Everybody wants to play in those fields. And it's
Yeah.
cool that Crom is something like this that, that is, it's just like this background idea, but everyone knows about it to a certain extent to where they have this
Right.
idea of it, so that it gives you a lot of leeway to play with, but it also gives you a famous name.
Right. Right. GTO, we're talking about the Brutal Blade of Crom and the anthology.
GTL, it's good to see you again, bro. You've been here for all these, man. Shout out to you. Thank you for coming in, bro. We
Yeah,
love you.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the original stories, which you can get in Kurt Bruegel's Crom, and it's not really an anthology. It's more like a he does some new material, Crom material, and he reprints the original Crom storylines. But they're super basic. It reads just like a Conan, only a 40s comic book Conan instead of
Sure.
the what was turned into the original Marvel comic books Conan. So it has a little bit more lightheartedness and a little bit more just 40s feel, 40s and 50s feel to it. I prefer this stuff, to be frank.
Hey,
More blood spattering.
um, GTO phase, I appreciate that very much. And the Daredevil one with David Mazzucchelli, it was really great. And he's an amazing
Yeah.
artist. And we appreciate you shouting us out like that, bro. Like, thank you very much. But there'll be a lot more to come, man. So just keep coming around and hanging out, and we're going to always be talking cool comics. And we're just going to come up with more cool stuff as we go along, just like this cool Crom right here. And we're finishing up this story from Jamie Burrows where he just hurls his massive axe at the face of this evil demon, and he's not going to be enslaved by anything. So even though he had been famous for Skullcracker and it had served him well, it doesn't really matter because in the end, any weapon that's wielded by Crom will become legendary.
So wait, Skullcracker is destroyed in that story?
Yeah, yeah. It goes, Skullcracker served me well, but this axe has spilled blood enough today, that of goblins and wizards, to have
Huh.
earned a name of its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it ends,
That's awesome.
Because it's like any blade that Crom wields is going to
Yeah.
become
Yeah. Yep, and I
infamous.
mean,
You know what I
it's a
mean?
weapon of war. It's not, your favorite cuddly toy, so it's gonna, be destroyed eventually,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever sword it is or weapon or whatever.
And then here we got Crom and the Savage Savior. And this
Yeah.
was by Jake Quirk,
Okay.
who also did the front piece at the beginning
Yeah.
and the front inside cover. Gorgeous work, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I love that
And
rain.
I love how his version of Crom has that great mullet or whatever.
I know, it's awesome. I
It's
love the
so
mullet.
cool and it's like totally original or whatever.
Yeah.
But here we
Yeah.
have a classic like Crom on the tower thing going on. Um, and that's like a classic Conan pastiche kind of thing. You're always opening up on Conan climbing a cliff and heading to a tower of some kind, plunder some sort of treasure or rescue some sort of or any combination of those two things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we're going to come over to this page right here and I'll just cover up the little bit of boobies we got going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Cover them up.
Sadly,
YouTube does not like boobies.
I'll just go like this. Sorry, Jake, we can't show your boobies, but they look great. I mean, she looks
Yeah.
fantastic. She's gorgeous looking. And then we got some nice shots of Tom sneaking into the evil wizard's lair. Woman is
Yeah.
enslaved. She's about to be sacrificed to this sort of Lochnar kind of evil freaking power. And Kron comes in, hacks down some minions in this beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels on this page. That's a lot of storytelling. Nice stuff looking.
Yeah.
Just beautiful
Yeah.
stuff, Jake.
It's mostly told in third person, right? As a
Yeah, this
narrative.
one in particular is told like literally like as a Conan novel, like
Right.
with pictures to guide it along, sort of like
Yeah.
almost like storyboards for a film or something like that.
Yeah, which is
And
kind
I
of
would
what I
love to
did.
sit and read in this whole thing, but we don't have time to sit and read all of it.
Yeah, people should
But
go get it. So
but yeah, I
Jamie.
was definitely going to say but other people should definitely be reading this. And hold on, it's just Jamie on here. Had some links to Conan's duty. Can you read that? What Jamie put down?
Found Crom on a public domain list, realized it was a free of limitation and had some name recognition thanks to Conan's deity, which is 100% true. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude, that's just exactly like what we were touching base on, is like how it's like it really allows you to play in that Conan universe, but without stepping on the toes of any previous Conan stuff. And you're not worried about getting like, up someone's bad side because you're using the Conan name and you don't own it or whatever. And it
Yeah.
really just allows you that freedom of playing in that universe, but without having to just create like a generic thing like
Yeah.
Gornar the
Yeah.
Barbarian or something, or
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
Yeah.
because
It's
yeah,
like
just like
the
Jamie said, Crom has that great brand recognition.
Yeah, yeah. Just so true. It's like this new thing I'm working on. You have to like I made a map and have to create all of the character names and all of the
Oh man, the maps are so fun.
locations and
That's
all that stuff. They
that's
are
like the
fun, but it's
funnest
a lot
and
of work.
hardest part. Like when you do the maps, because like the maps take so much time to develop or whatever. But at the same time, they're great when they're finished, but they take a lot of work to get through. It's just like when you do Dungeons and Dragons, the maps are always take time to develop.
GTO, yeah, it is a fantastic comic. And in the description, when we're done with the live stream, I'll put the how to get it, a link to how to get copies from Jamie and stuff.
Yeah, I wish Jake could have been here for this too, but he's in Australia, so it's
Yeah,
probably like
yeah.
5 in the morning or something like that where he's at.
Yeah.
But we finished this amazing story from Jake Quirk, Mango Dangle on Instagram, and of course it ends with Crom, defeating the minions and leaping at the evil wizard, and clashing with them in fantastic style, and of course Crom strikes him down, releasing the dark incarnate evil thing that was embodied inside this wizard. It's like clearly some sort of Cthulhu inspired freaking,
Yeah, yeah,
old god monstrous thing. And you just can't go wrong with that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like when you're working with something like Crom the Barbarian, and you're working with because those two guys, they go together hand in hand, you know what I
they
mean?
do.
Because they
They
were even
do.
buddies, you know what I mean? Lovecraft
Yeah,
and freaking Howard, you can't go wrong with him. That's like chocolate and peanut butter. You're gonna get
yeah.
something good every time.
Yep. I mean, they're so intertwined that their worlds in there, because a lot of their stories come from the letters that they wrote to each other, and
Yeah.
they share so much of their creations and their characters and their locations and stuff with each other. And that was their whole thing, was that these stories are timeless, or they wanted them to be timeless, and they wanted them to continue. So
Yeah, yeah. And that's what's great, because like here it is generations later, and more creators are just like love their stuff so much that we can't put it down. We still want to make
yeah,
more from it.
yeah, yeah,
So here we come across our third story, I believe.
yeah.
And
By
I mean,
Matt Sheen.
you get a lot in this comic, man. You guys gave a lot of good stuff. And then we have The Pearl in the Tower by Matt Che.
Yep.
Let me see here. Yeah, Crom and the Savage Savior. Man, great titles too, you guys. Everybody
Yeah.
came up with a great title for their stuff. You guys all did such cool stuff. And then this great classic Matt Che and the eyeballs thing. I feel like you can't get a Matt
Get
Che
his head
story.
cut open.
Yeah, without getting some cool eyeballs popping. That's the
Yeah.
Matt Che trope, and we're getting it right off the back, and we love it. It's great. Got this nice I'm guessing maybe he does all this on Photoshop or something. I don't think it's screen tones, but really nice looking gray work here with multiple levels of gray to kind of like make everything pop and keep the background in the background and the foreground in the foreground. It's like really nice work, Matt Che.
I don't know. Does he work digitally? I don't know.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not. I wish he was here, Matt. If you're out there, let us know. Are you working digitally? Are you not, dude? Like even after you watch this video, come on, man, and drop us a line. If you can't do it now, do it later when you guys watch us. Later on, because I know not a lot of them could be here live for it, but hopefully everyone who worked on this will stop and watch their video and get a chance to look at their art on the big screen, and then maybe drop a line and let us know what's going on with it.
Yeah,
But
I know Jake. I know Jake is total digital. Jake Quirk.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. You could kind
And
of see it when you.
yeah,
He
yeah,
probably does an
and
underdrawing though. I would think. I bet you he might do an underdrawing on paper first.
maybe, but Jamie, I'm pretty sure is not digital at all.
Yeah, he's like. I mean, he's like me. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
old school dudes trying to keep it. You're basically like that too. You just do a dash of digital stuff here and there. I know most of your stuff is on the page too.
yeah, yeah,
So once again, we got the classic Conan, piece here, climbing a tower. We've seen that like 3 times now, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that because, it happened like 3 times in every Conan story, it seemed like.
Thank you, GTO, for the comments. He just said he loves watching us.
Hey man, we love having you here, bro. It's really cool to have friends to hang out with and talk comic books with, and we're always going to be around, and we always try to like respond to any comments that people leave live. So we
Yeah,
have this great looking tower here now, and we thought maybe there's going to be like some sort of treasure at the bottom of it or something like that, but apparently this giant tower is just filled with water, like a well or
yeah,
something. And
yeah.
Crom's going to swim to the bottom here and face some giant worm beast or something. I'm guessing maybe.
I love that scene of him swimming.
Oh, great. You know what I mean? Even the
Yeah,
dive looks good, and it's just
yeah,
like it makes perfect sense. It builds up really nice. We got
yeah.
this like monolithic tail thing. I'm just going to touch my camera real quick and make sure I'm focused here so I don't look like
It
crap.
looks good to me.
Okay, and then this is the one I really liked right here was this
Yeah,
shot of the eye, on close
yeah.
up,
The
which is
eye opening.
just a real classic thing, yeah. And then we, the classic like figure, and I've done versions of this like very kind of thing, like a child swimming and then a giant shark coming up to them or something like things like that, because that's just like a fun drawing trope, the small figure and the big looming
Yeah,
figure thing in the
yeah.
water.
100%.
It's just such a panic-inducing idea. You've seen it covered again and again by Frank Frazetta, Boris Vallejo, like every fantasy author likes
Yeah,
to touch base
everybody.
on that one. And we got a nice close-up of the eye. Like I've said before,
Yeah,
you cannot
yeah,
do enough eye close-ups for me. I put that stuff on every page. But he's also getting down and showing us some nice small figures and nice storytelling. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 panels on this page. So,
yeah,
dude's doing
yeah,
some real serious storytelling.
yeah, yeah,
And he strikes this monstrous leviathan and sends it turning, but it catches Crom hard in the back as it gets him, and he loses all of his air. He's sinking down, chomped within the jaws of the great methylitic beast, and I'm
yeah,
sure it means he's dead and the story is over, and that's how all like good Conan stories end. But oh wait, no, this
yeah,
shot right here, and I really like the whiteout on the eye right there. The little. That's something I always fully do. Like once I
yeah,
complete the drawing, I'll come in and boop 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 boop
yeah.
white
Me
out
too.
dots.
Me too. I
For
think
like
that's one of the things that artists learn early on,
yeah,
the
it's
reflections and
always
the lights. And yeah.
yeah, it's super
So
fun.
here's
And then
one thing that is great about this story and every underwater scene for sword sorcery or whatever, like it's impossible to swing a sword underwater, but who cares? Who cares?
yeah,
It's like the explosions in space that wouldn't happen in a space battle. Who cares? It looks
um,
cool.
you know what I always tell myself? I always go, the explosions in space, would happen because the ships are full of oxygen.
Yeah, yeah. There's multiple ways. There's no way to explain swinging a sword in underwater. It's just
Um,
impossible.
like someone was like, well, in Star Wars, the ships they fly because like they have physics, like they're in a physical environment, but space has no gravity. Like ships can't do that in space. And then like I was like, dude, that's like one of the X-Wing books. It talks about how an alien race invented a mechanism that creates physics in the ships when they're flying. It creates a field of physics around the vehicles,
Yeah,
so they
yeah,
don't have
that's
to
good.
have. You know what I mean? It's
You get a
it's
no
it's like
prize.
yeah, dude, it's freaking sci-fi, dude. You know what I mean? It's like there's this great story about the character Watu from
Yeah.
uh
What
what
if?
is it, episode 1 or whatever, and
Oh,
he's
oh,
a
right.
little blue guy who floats,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
all the people like working in the effects, are arguing. They're going like, oh, his wings don't flap fast enough for him to be flying like this. And they're
Right.
like, oh, well, the wings should be like this, or the wings should be like that. The wings should be doing this because it's not enough for him to be flying. And George Lucas walks in the room and looks at him and he goes, the wings aren't doing any of the flying. He goes, he's a helium man. His belly has a little bladder inside of it that fills with helium like a balloon. And all the
Yeah.
wings do is guide him around. And everybody
Yeah.
in the room is just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, instantly everybody just has to shut up and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's science
Yeah.
fiction, guys,
Yeah.
just
Definitely. Yep.
make it up and, make it work,
Yeah, yeah. In these goings down says looks cool, bro. Yeah, this book is definitely awesome looking. And Jamie says, I think Matchy does a combo of things, usually traditional line work and digital gray tones. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matchy. I'm about 80% traditional. I usually just fix levels and contrast digitally, which that's cool. I mean, I only color digitally. I don't do any of the line work digitally.
I was going to say, like, you can look at the line and all that stuff and see that that's all real art. Like, you could just
Yeah,
look at this and know that's all done with pins or dips or whatever,
yeah,
brush and
yeah,
stuff like that. But that's what I was curious because, like, it looks like Zipatone in some places or whatever, but I just don't
yeah,
think I figured it was like something he was doing in Photoshop or something like that. So that's so cool. See, great about this is like Alex and I are comic book creators and our friends are comic book creators. And right now you guys are getting to hang out and hear the actual, values and the things of the people that created these books. And
yeah.
it's just like fun, like when can be on the inside of things and know what's going on and see how things are done and the inspiration of getting to it. And like maybe there's aspiring comic book creators out there right now who are just waiting to dip their finger into this kind of thing. And hopefully this gets you inspired to get out there,
That'd be
make
awesome.
your own comics, man, because the world needs comic books right now if they ever did.
Oh yeah, definitely 100%.
So, and then we got the great conclusion of this, and I love this shot of the blood rising first. You know what I mean? We
Yeah,
got this little bit of splatter in the middle of the pool. Nice work, Matt. That's just so
yeah,
cool. And the blood
yeah,
rises first, and then the pool becomes black with the blood. You see
yeah,
that? You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's
And
great, great
then,
comic book art
yeah, Crom
narrative.
emerges. Super fun, with the pearl of the serpent, which is
Yeah,
our, the title.
yeah.
Very nice stuff, Matt. Okay. And with that one, we're going to move on to our next story. And this is by
That's
our,
mine.
our boy right here, Alexander Turbin. And this is Crom and the Bat Lord by
Yeah, which is
Alexander Turbin.
funny because I didn't have a title, and Jamie was like, "Come up, you got to come up with the title." I'm like, I don't know. Batlord sounds good, baby.
Just Jamie's throwing down a little bit of info right now and let us know that recently in his some of newer projects, he's been doing digital lettering. Boo. No, I'm just kidding.
I
I
do
know
that too. You're trading uniqueness for legibility.
everybody does it. I think I'm probably the last holdout on earth that does all the lettering by hand. And it's probably not even that good, but it's something I'm determined to try and become good at over time, and it is grueling and it is horrible and it is the most I hate it so much. but
Everybody is groaning along with you.
I just do it, man. I just do it. I don't know what to say. Like I just have to sit down and do it. It's just part
Yeah,
of like my OCD or something.
yeah, yeah.
But enough about my nonsense. Just Jamie saying, he goes, just some digital.
Just some lettering.
Jamie, it's great to have you here, bro. It's so cool sharing this with the creator of the comic himself,
Yeah,
And we're all looking forward to the next issue. And I'll show a tease of my art at the end of this when that's going to be coming out in the next issue. But here we have Crom and the Bat Lord by Alexander Turbin. We have this great shot that you laid out. We got the Bat Lord on his throne, and his minions have brought him Crom's sister.
yep.
And what's her
Lala,
name?
Lala,
Lala. That's
Lala.
great. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. And you
And
can
she's
see
just,
I did do some digital stuff. All of the blacks are digital for me.
oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why
Why
it's so
why
even.
spend hours filling in black line work when you could go click and it's all filled in.
Boo. No.
Yeah.
That's great. No, you really couldn't tell. I couldn't tell. So that's the
Yeah.
best way to do it. To me, if you're doing digital work, I prefer it to be invisible to my eye if you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
If you can do digital work like Brian Boland,
Yeah.
then hats off to you. You know what I mean? Because no one can tell Brian Boland digital.
No, but he started from the very beginning of digital
Yeah,
art. So
he might be the only digital artist in the world where no one knows when he's working digital or when he's working analog because they
yeah,
both look
yeah,
identical, you know.
yeah,
But look at you just going for it right here, man. I mean, you are just
yeah,
like right out the gate. We have this like really great big shot right here. You know, just really, this is beautiful. You know,
yep.
really cool looking bad guy. You know, like you know,
Well,
one of these days, dude.
I usually start my stories with uh, a splash page of a establishing shot where it has like
Sure.
the castle, whatever. But I figured it would be better to start off with the story going on with Lala and kind of showing the danger that she's in, and then kind of backtracking to what Crom is doing.
Oh yeah, that's a perfect way to get people like interested in the story right off the back. And yeah, GTO phase, you know, it's funny that you say that because Alexander and I are actually working on a comic together right now with
Yep.
a handful of other guys. And it's going to be a big, you know, it's going to be a big one, man. It's got like, I'm going to say it's got over 30 pages of art in it. It's got 4 or 5 different artists working on it, and everybody's turning in some of their very best work. And it's going to be an explosive sort of homage to classic DC into the universe storytelling.
Yeah,
So
it's
look
definitely a
forward to that.
cosmic event.
Yeah, it's you know, a big, you know, end of the universe style story. And you know, why should just the big three guys get to dip into that kind of storytelling? You know what I mean? Every once in a while it's fun for the indie guys to come through and do something like that. But back to
Yeah,
our story here. And you know, we have this really great looking shot right here of the castle, which is so much fun. And you see like how he's just like it's you know, and these impenetrable spikes of ice and snow and
yeah,
sleet.
yeah. Here's the going to be the first page of the next issue, which is actually a continuation of that story, where you get to see a real establishing shot of where it takes place.
And we let you know Crom's blade again, you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
Skullcracker
yeah,
or whatever. And
yeah.
almost, you know,
Stonecracker.
you almost like there's almost an intonation of a skull in there. There's like 2
Yeah,
eyes
yeah. A
and
little
sort of
bit.
a nose, you know, and sort of like a mouth thing at the bottom right here, you know what I mean? Like even if it's unintentional, you know what I mean? There
Yeah,
is like
yeah,
this hint of like the skull vibe going to it. Really nice work on this figure right here. Really get that feeling of the sleet and snow and you know
yeah.
wind and rain. And then
Yeah,
you know the
yeah. It's
other fun thing
100% what I
too
wanted.
is to see everybody's interpretation of Crom. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah,
everybody's just doing their version of Conan to a certain extent. You know what I
it
mean?
100% is.
Yeah. So like you're getting everybody's different versions of it. You know, like I want to say the one thing that everybody has in common is nobody puts him in a tunic. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah,
maybe we got one shot of a tunic right here from Jamie in the tundra scene or whatever.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
everybody else has just got a shirtless Crom, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, you need shirtless Crom, and thank you, Jamie. I'm pretty proud of that. Working on the establishing shot.
Yeah, dude, I know. It's so badass. You know, all you guys did such amazing work. I mean, Jamie, we were just talking about this one right here, you know, like,
Yeah, that's
dude, like
awesome.
that's so cool, man. Like, you know, everybody really did, you know, some really beautiful. I mean, like this, Jamie. I mean, this, you really, you know, crushed it. And I think everybody involved really tried to bring their A game to this. And in some cases, you know, I might maybe even like their A plus plus game, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
Because
want more of that
everybody,
demon.
you know, everybody, yeah, you know, did such nice work. So your Crom is a bit more Prince Valiant than the other guys's because your
Yeah,
guys's has your he just has a bit more accoutrements. He's got a cape, he's
yep,
got, you know, he's got an actual sheath, you know what I mean, for his
yeah,
sword, where everybody else just seems to carry it, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
You guys just got his boots are actually crafted else's boots look like they were just like slain animal skin thing, you know, like
yeah. Are you on the what do they call those boots again? The style of boot. I'm trying to think of it now, but I always put those on my sword and sorcery guys.
I don't know what the name of that is with the folded down lip or whatever, you know, like
Yeah, yeah, like Captain America
yeah, the Captain
wears.
America boot, yeah,
Yeah,
swashbuckler boot. But
swashbucklers. Yeah,
yeah, you know, like I think that was a pretty common thing. Like, you know, one of my favorite comics, and I don't have any of these, and I almost never come across them either, which is kind of odd because I know it was hugely popular. And at the time, I had the entire run, but I sold them all when I became like a surfer skater kid.
Yeah.
And because I had so many original comics and so many original runs, and I sold all of them like when I became a skater kid, and I just regret it so much because I tried to get a lot of that stuff back over the years, but was never really able to because I had like all the original Teen Titans. I had all the original GI Joes when they came out. You know, what I mean, like
Yeah.
GI Joe 1 through 33 or something like that. And I let them all go like a dumbass. But one of the things I loved was Mike Grell's Warlord. Do you remember that at
Yeah.
all?
Yeah. I don't have many. I only have a couple issues, but yeah, I
Do you
know it.
have some? Oh,
I have a
dude, like that's
couple.
badass. I was such a huge fan of Mike Grell's Warlord, and his
Yeah.
characters always have the folded lip Captain America boot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
something you've seen everywhere on his pages.
Yeah. So
But his,
one of the things that I was going for specifically was Crom being put up against the environment instead of like a big creature or something like that fighting. I wanted to kind of show that just like the Robert E. Howard stories, it was like brutal force. Like Crom, just like Conan to me, is just like in almost all sword sorcery, it's just like a brutal force of nature. So it's like the character being a brutal force of nature, also going against a real force of nature, which is the storm and the mountain.
um, oh, dude, absolutely. And like, well, not just to touch base with GTO's phase real quick here, bro. Yeah, it takes a long time to learn to draw this good. You know, Alex
Yep.
actually went to the Kubert School for Artists, so he's got a little lip up on a lot of guys out there, and his art is really great. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
um, I
Just
think
keep at
like
it.
I touched base like in Jamie's story. Like I think in a lot of ways the backgrounds become characters in Conan's stories. It's like
Oh yeah.
he's not just he's not just battling against the protagonist character. Often the actual background will become a protagonist, or I mean, an
Yeah.
antagonist, or whatever. Because
Yeah.
he'll be lost in a dungeon, or he's
Yeah.
fighting his way through a brutally hot jungle, or he's struggling his way through chest deep snow. And that's like you said, is the brutal force and his strength is what prevents anything from stopping him. But it's
Right.
almost
Right.
like because his writing is so prolifically beautiful and Robert E. Howard stuff, it's almost like the environments become, things he has to overcome. You know what I
Right.
mean? Just
Right.
like a
Right.
monster or just like, a bad guy. So you're
Yeah.
really like displaying that here, how he is battling, the wilderness, and is forced to, find this hidden lair that's, up on a top of an insurmountable cliff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Surrounded by
Yeah.
evil minions. And I love the shot where he's like shedding the cloak, freaking because I guess maybe the wind
That's
resistance is too much or
that's why I had the cloak. The whole time I planned on him losing the cloak in the wind, and just like um, the the environment is taking things away from Crom as he's making his way up the mountain.
sure, sure. I mean, it makes perfect sense. He's losing hit points as he's going along,
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
get up this thing.
yeah.
And you're just really articulating each of those moments. I almost wish this was on this page. You know what I mean? Like, I think that panel would have like flowed better right here. You know what
You
I
think?
mean?
Oh, yep, yep. I
If,
understand what you're saying.
if
Yeah, you're
that
probably
had
right.
been like right on top of here or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
but
You're
it's still,
100% right.
I mean, it still works fine or whatever. It just would
Does
have
it?
been more animated-y if it had all been on
Yeah,
one page and
yeah, yeah.
the
No,
paper just
you're
shows it a
100%
little bit.
correct.
But very nice stuff though, as he flips himself up and
Yeah.
nice work in these, very cool and these little peaks in the background and all these little bat dudes all swarming down on him. Classic little gargoyle, minion characters here. And make sure
The bat soldiers.
I'm in focus here. And yeah, just super cool. Nice textures. A little bit of kayfabe on the muscles back here, but everything looking pretty accurate for the most part. Very nice looking stuff.
I was doing that that Death Knight statue, and I was doing so much reference to bodybuilding muscles, especially in the back, because I wanted to get anyone that says that this person doesn't do anatomy right or that person doesn't do anatomy right. Everybody's anatomy is different. I mean, there's basic shapes, but everybody, you look at any um, uh, bodybuilding magazine or whatever, everybody's back looks different. It's just
No, you're
slightly
totally
different.
right.
But
I mean,
so
because they work on different values or whatever. So everybody
definitely,
will have the same basic form or the handful of basic, same structure. but the way it's built will be like so
Yeah.
drastically different on any
Yeah. Yeah.
different guy.
So,
I
so
100% agree.
this back is going to be different than anybody else's back.
Dude, I agree 100%. I feel like that's pretty much, dude, that's my take on all anatomy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it is.
It's like,
It is.
I don't take any of it too seriously. And I'll often just add muscles here or there to something look more structurally sound, or, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
because as long as things are stacked in the right places, that's really all that matters to the human
Yeah.
eye.
Yeah.
Like, but this page is really awesome. I actually really like this shot right here of him like stepping down the throne and like sort of coming closer or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
not sure
Yeah.
why that worked so well for me, but I really like that sort of
I think it has
three quarter.
I think it has an animated quality.
It does. It's like it's got like, because he's like stepping up and then he comes down and then we have this like boom. I would have liked the little sound effect right here, but that's just me. I'm a sound effect guy. I always have to put sound effects in all my stuff. Like I'm not
Yeah.
sure why that's so tied into me, but you'll see. Like I always like I'm a big sound effect dude. It's like part of the art to me. Like.
Right.
But this shot is really great right here, dude. Like that's a really nice shot. And what's going on here?
Of Lala.
Oh yeah, dude, right for sure, Jamie. Me too. I was just getting to that lower right panel, man. It's very strikingly good. Once again, we got the little, white out dots on the eyes. Nice looking mouth, cool looking three quarters, like very cool.
I wanted to get the expression of "I know something that you don't." Because the Bat Lord is talking previously of how Crom has to make it through these peaks, make it through this snow, make it through the Bat soldiers, and like he's like so confident that Crom is going to fail, and yet she is confident that Crom is going to be there when the time matters. So that's really what I was trying, whether or not I got it correct or not. But that's what
No,
I was really trying.
it looks very
That's
cool,
what I
dude.
was
It's
really
just
trying
like,
to
yeah,
do.
it is I would definitely say it's a knowing look for sure.
Yeah.
You guys, there's a lot of blonde hair in this book. A lot of the characters have blonde hair, and
Yeah.
as I'm going through looking at it, like I always do this thing when I do blonde hair, and none of you guys do it, but like I keep wanting to come into the art, and it's like I'm going to do like something blasphemy right here. I'm just going to draw. I'm going to draw this like my blonde highlight on here. And when I'll put these things in it, you know what I mean? I'll put these little upside down like M's or whatever, or W's, and that's where the light is hitting the blonde hair. And I always put these things in. I'm almost probably going to come in with the ink pen and put these in on these.
You might
You
as
gotta let
well.
me. Gotta let me ink one of your pages one of
I
these days.
will. I would love you to ink one of our
I know we
stories.
talked about me inking like some of the Entropy Alliance pages, but I just
Yeah.
kind of got away from
Yeah.
us a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. We
dude,
definitely will.
I want to like ink one of your pages one of these days, dude, or a couple of them, or a story or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we have the culmination of this awesome story from Alexander Turbin right here. This great, awesome, freaking beautiful splash to end it all. Really great looking face, like really nice looking hands right here.
Yeah.
Just super
She's kind of
cool.
smiling. She's kind of smiling because she gets the satisfaction of knowing that Crom,
Cool looking
defeated all of
change,
the stuff. Yep.
Yeah. I would have liked a little more blood. There's no blood on this blade.
There's no blood. You're right.
That's the only thing this thing is missing, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in and do some blood on here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. I should have had some definitely blood.
But other than that, just gorgeous, man. Awesome ending to an awesome story. I'm not sure if we're gonna get more. I know you've contemplated doing more Crom and Lala stories. Like you were thinking that they might go into an area that might be a little like difficult for you to.
Yeah. Here's page. Here's page 2 of the second story.
Oh, awesome!
Where
You're like, can you hold that up a little bit closer?
They're at the top of the castle or tower or whatever, and they're like, how are we going to get down? There's too many bat lords, bat soldiers, whatever. So what I'm going to have happen is Crom is going to tie a rope between him and Lala, and they're going to jump from flying bat soldier to flying bat soldier, and try to like make it down the mountain by doing that.
That's actually so cool, dude. That's a really
Yeah.
fun idea. That's like
Yeah.
the cliff scene from King Kong or whatever. Like remember in King Kong and the Peter Jackson one, they jump off the cliff and he hangs from that flapping bird and he
Right,
drops
right,
from
right.
that
Exactly.
and he
Yeah, kind of.
yeah he drops from that and then another one grabs him and then they hang on to it all the way down. Like that's a cool idea.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty ambitious telling that story too. And so here we got Alan Robinson. Robinson?
Wait
Yeah,
a minute.
Alan
Wait a
Robinson.
minute. Jamie said, I pulled editorial authority, no Crom and sister shenanigans. I have the, I'm not going to ever do Crom and his sister doing the things that I think, because in the original stories, they are so tightly wound together that I feel like they are, they're doing some stuff that they shouldn't be doing as brother and
Well,
sister.
I feel like that's kind of like a pretty common thread to Robert E. Howard sorcery stuff. And I mean, if you've ever watched the Jason Momoa
Yeah,
Conan film,
yeah.
I mean, the villain and the main villain in that has this thread where he's clearly, with his daughter or whatever, like his daughter and him have this sort of
Right. Yeah.
somehow something somewhat inappropriate relationship with one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of feel like that stuff is tied into it. But obviously, no one wants to offend anybody with this stuff. You know what I mean? We're just all having fun.
Yep. Yep.
So this is art by Alan Robinson, story by Alan Robinson. And here's a cool little thing where Crom comes along and discovers like a bunch of like ladies in chains in some sort of like lost desert environment or something like that, some sort of cliffside. And some sort of evil minion sorceress, sort of barbarian female here. And immediately Crom's got a problem with this lady keeping a bunch of fine women locked up. And he's going to come at this dude or this chick with everything that she has or he has. But she's got an ace in the hole here. She's got a giant monster who does some of her bidding.
Yeah,
and
kind of like Fire and Ice.
Yeah, and he's got like this real cool sort of like Ray Harryhausen kind of look to him or whatever.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he'd be a Ray Harryhausen stop motion monster from back in the day or something.
Yeah, looks awesome.
Yeah, he looks a little bit like the Cyclops from like I think it's Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger.
Or is that not Perseus, but
is that Seven Voyages of Sinbad? Maybe that has the Cyclops.
I don't know.
With the single horn thing going on or whatever.
I don't know. We'll have to rewatch those and go over those in a video. Too.
Yeah, because it's not Clash of the Titans. Clash of the Titans.
No, it's not Clash of the Titans. But I was thinking maybe it was a what is he does one. It's not Perseus. It's the gold.
Oh,
Jason and the Argonauts.
Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be. But Crom makes quick work of this guy, and once again, I enjoy these little things. Like you and Alan both do these like little animated sort of DeLuca things, these little like panel to panel flip things, and those are always super fun. So he grabs the horn, flips up over the head, lands on the shoulders, boom, chums this dude's head off.
Like I'm always saying in my reviews is if you're going to have action, I mean, sure, there's times when you want to just show how it ends or how it begins, but in my action scenes, I have to have a wind up and then a follow through and then the end of the action. It just kind of makes sense to me, and it reads better.
What's that Jamie's saying down there? Could you read that for us?
He said since then, Alan has put out a Halloween comic and a Christmas comic. He's working on a sci-fi comic as well. The dude produces, and that's 100% true.
I know, it's like Sally Starfighter or something like that.
Yeah.
It looks dope, man. I'm looking forward to that, Alan. I wish you could be here. I wish you were out here right now talking to us, Alan. And I hope you watch us in the future. And please drop us a line and let us know what you think. We'd love to. And in the future, we're definitely probably going to look at some of your single books as well.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
We'll be looking at all these authors' different, pieces of work that they do. Because Jamie is the creator of like War on Bad Street. We all work on Nathaniel J.K. Soaked in Bloods together, and we're all comic book creating friends. And
Yep.
you know, we're all just and as a matter of fact, and here is there's another pinup from Alex, another really cool looking
Yep.
pinup.
Cover up the movie.
And this is a little breakdown of him as a domain character, and
Yeah.
Jake Quirk was cool enough to do this, and this is very comprehensive. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about the history of Crom, there's a little bit of a breakdown on it. Really awesome stuff, just unprecedentedly great underground comic creating from everybody involved. You know,
Yeah.
Jamie,
Awesome.
I mean, come on, man, this is so good. We're all so lucky to, you know, be involved with one another, because I really feel like it is our work together that really elevates all of us. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, all of us are good on our own, but when we all work together to create comics, our work becomes elevated, I feel like.
Yep. Yep. There's safety in the pack. And that's
Yeah.
definitely what we are.
And oh, absolutely. And we're going to close out here with a really cool looking one pager from the man himself, Nathaniel J.K., the Stan Lee of underground comics. But he
Yeah.
loves
Yeah.
Nathan, man.
Yeah. We
Like,
need more. We need more Nate stuff.
yeah, we love you,
Definitely.
Nathan, man. I hope you come out and you get a chance to see this. Nathan delivered a cool little story about Crom, and this is just sort of like a quick little, you know, sort of legendary tale of Crom gaining his sword for the first time, and you know, feeling the great, you know, future of his life, wielding this truly excellent, possibly Atlantean blade, you know, of strange metal that, you know, is like better than everything else and cuts through everything like butter. And just sort of, what's the word I'm thinking of? Foreshadowing the amazing adventures that will take place in his future
Yeah.
while wielding these legendary weapons.
Yeah. I love how that it's so full. That page is so full.
It is. It's, I mean, like, all on this page, just on this one page, is telling this totally full legend of the character, you know, like this completely, you know, from beginning to end, you know, and it's all just about the legendariness, you know, of the sword and
Yeah.
him together, you know. It's so badass, you know. My iron sword Skullcracker has long been clean enough to sparkle under the stars of night, and so I know it thirsts. It has been quite long since it was allowed to drink its fill. It's settled then. Be so as it may, that I shall indeed perish eventually. I shall continue onward into adventure. And the
That's
sword is even
awesome.
breaking the panel, you know, and pointing
Yeah.
off to the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Awesome future. And we have this great little, you know, letting everybody know the contributors.
Yep. And where they
Your
can be
friend
found.
Claude. I'm not sure what he contributed. What did this guy contribute?
Who was that?
Your friend Claude?
Your friend Claude. Did the back page? I mean, yeah.
Hmm.
Back
I'll have to go over
back
this.
cover. What's the back?
Oh,
What's the
maybe.
back
Oh,
cover?
no. I think that's a Jamie
No?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Jamie right here. Jamie Barrows.
Maybe he helped with editing.
Possibly.
Jamie, who
Oh
is that?
man, dude, I love that. I love that tower you got there, man. That's so cool.
Which tower?
The one on your page right there.
Oh yeah. This is going to be the first page of the second. He says there's a coming next issue page. So I think you missed one.
Oh, okay. That's maybe that's what that is, or yeah, okay. Or,
Is that the second part? Is that the second?
Okay.
All right.
That's right here. Okay, that's
Oh,
what I
okay.
missed. Okay. Thank you, Jamie. Dude, see, that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, man. So cool having you here and breaking this down for us, Jamie. I can't thank you enough for coming out. Like, so rad having you here. Really
Yeah.
makes a difference, dude. So awesome. Okay, so this is coming in the next issue. We have a little teaser for him here. And that's super cool that you guys included him even in the credits, you know, even
Yeah.
though you only done
Yeah.
like a little one pager, but that's badass. That's super cool. I'm sorry I missed that. I think I thought that was your work, Alex, for a moment when I turned the pages.
Yeah.
He kind of does the same thing with the sword almost, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
you and him are doing something very similar where you guys are
Yeah.
creating the sort of like skull thing inside the shadow of the sword, which
Yeah.
mental note, anytime I draw the sword, because my sword, my story doesn't have the sword in it yet.
It
But
doesn't
if I
have
do
Skullcracker
get
in it.
to it, you know what I mean, I will definitely be sure to keep that, theme involved. But yeah, and then just closing it out with a banger from Jamie, I mean,
Yeah.
just a banger of a shot from Jamie right there. Just, oh man, come on, forget about it. What? You know, he's just bringing it right there, man. Like it's got like, look at that, like just beautiful gore coming off that, and clouds, and we just got a battlefield, and the mountains of the wretched dead. I could never draw a hand.
On which one? The hand reaching out? Oh, he means the one that Claude drew.
Oh yeah, this one right here. Yeah, that's nice. That's not bad
Yeah,
at all. Yeah, man, that's pretty
yeah,
good. Yeah, I mean, it's a very nice piece. I'm looking forward to seeing it in the next book. I mean, who wouldn't be excited about getting more of this? Like,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Nice foreshortening.
Yeah, for sure. Phil the Kill, man. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's a really great point. Most definitely. And like I said, we close out with this really beautiful piece from Jamie. Just classic stuff. And I just wanted to touch base, and just give everybody a shout out because you guys all did such amazing work on that. And sure, we've been covering, a lot of the big three and all the main guys, and of
Yeah,
course, why wouldn't we? But we also need to take time to shout out to all of our amazing artists that we work with and all their amazing works, and we're going to do that. We've already
yeah,
probably
definitely.
way overstayed our welcome at this point, so we're going to be wrapping it up here real quick. But I just wanted to quick throw down a shot of this is my upcoming story for Crom
Looks
and
awesome.
issue 2. And yeah, I'm going to try and keep it a little simple. My Crom is a younger version of the character, and just trying to keep it down with those sort of
I love those ape creatures.
Frank Frazetta. Yeah, I was trying to make them Australopithecine as I could, and they're like
Yeah,
the small things are like I try to keep their physicality more man-like. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like
yeah,
even though they're apes, he has a very this is just a man arm with hair on it. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And
Kind of
yeah,
like how the bad guys in Fire and Ice are apish looking as well, but you can
exactly,
still tell
exactly.
that they're humanoid.
Yeah, I didn't want to go too far with the ape and have him completely hunched or whatever, like
Yeah,
the Tarzan thing, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it was kind of like trying to walk a fine line. But the hair on this guy came out really nice, and that was all
yeah,
done
yeah. It did.
with like a manga dip pin thing or whatever.
Yeah,
And then I was really like happy with like how this shot at the top, which is like it's supposed to be him like walking up on the on the shape of the fallen mastodon, you know what I mean?
right.
And then they realize he's there and they come like walking out from it or whatever. And I was really happy with all of it, except for like this tiny little Crom figure right here was like super hard to do. I don't know how good that came out, but
Oh no, that looks good. He's got this
uh,
awesome pose. He's got this awesome bracing for something going on pose.
yeah, I'm basically just gonna do like I was thinking I'm gonna do like sort of like the dog scene from Fire and Ice, like
Yeah,
where he pole vaults over the dogs or whatever.
yeah, yeah. That's cool.
Uh, I was gonna do something kind of along those lines. But yeah, man, and those are a little quick glance of like what I got working on for Jamie's stuff coming out. And yeah, I'm
Awesome.
excited to be involved, Jamie. To be honest, Jamie says that he's super psyched to have us, have me involved in the next issue. I couldn't be more excited to be involved, to be perfectly honest. I'm the one who's being honored because I was so impressed with all the work you guys did on that first one. I was just jealous I didn't get in on that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
I'm definitely turning out like, some egg game stuff for this next thing because,
It'll be
who
awesome.
doesn't want to take an opportunity to be involved in something like this? Sword and sorcery, fantasy, superheroes is what we love. It's what we
Yeah,
do. It's what we
yeah,
eat and breathe. And that's why we're here hanging out with you guys on our weekend because what's more fun than hanging out with your comic book bros on the weekend and looking at comics together.
yeah.
Once again, this is Comic Books from Coast to Coast with East Coast Alex and West Coast Joe. I'm Joe Leonardo.
And I'm Alex Turbin.
We've been hanging out with some amazing comic book creators like Just Jamie. We've been looking at amazing comic art. or I should say Jamie Barrows and just Jamie Comics at Instagram.com. We've been looking at amazing art from Matt Che, Jake Quirk at Mangle Dangle on Instagram. You really need to go by Jake's page and look at Nathaniel JK, the creator of JK Papers, creator of Soaked in Blood. Go by his page and look at his stuff. He does amazing work. Alan Robinson, creator of the upcoming, I believe, Susie Starship or Susie
Yep,
Star Command,
yep,
and also
that's
the creator
actually coming out in Funk.
of Tori. What is it? Don't Mess with Tori on
Yeah.
Soaked in Blood. Jake Quirk, Mangle Dangle, creator of Skinner on Soaked in Blood. Just Jamie Barrows, creator of Brawlers on Bad Street and the soon coming highly anticipated War on Bad Street. And everybody should be getting excited about War on Bad Street because that's just going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And Alexander and I are creator of comic books. I'm creator of Six Lords of Sound, super heavy metal warriors in space. If you're interested in getting a copy of that, you want to Instagram message me on Instagram at Awfully World on Instagram. That's all one word, AWFULLYWORLD.
And I have Random Access, which you can get as a Patreon member. It's a monthly comic book. It's a full size, full color comic book that's 12 pages, and it usually has backups by a couple of people. But you can get these at Patreon at /Alexander Turbin, or you can go to alexanderturbin.com and check these out, which also has my Mutandis and Forlorn and all kinds of other stuff. But here's also covers by Jake Quirk. And the next issue of Random Access has his cover of the, it's a special teaser of 1900s horror, where Jake does the cover, and he also does the colors for the book. And you can check that out at, again, patreon.com /Alexander Turbin.
Yeah, I think we're all super excited about that. Like, that's going to be so awesome. I'm really looking forward to that coming out. That HP Lovecraft thing you guys did together. Yeah, it's just going to be super cool. Like, everyone should be trying to get their hands on that. All right, you guys, this is Comic Books from Coast to Coast. We're super happy to have you guys here. We're super happy to see you. And just like always, Alex, tell them what's going on here at the very end.
Keep on creating.
Thanks, you guys.